Everyone knows that usernames and passwords are bad. Usernames and passwords are not secure and are difficult to manage. For the past 15 years, the most common solution to the authentication problem was two-factor authentication, usually over a smartphone, but sometimes with a key fob. In the past 3 years, it has become obvious to almost everyone in tech that multi-factor authentication can be hacked. There is even a book on how to do it. In a comprehensive White House memorandum released January 26, 2022, all current approaches to multi-factor authentication have been deprecated. These attacks can be fully automated and operate cheaply at significant scale. For more than 10 years, an alliance of the world's leading technology companies, the FIDO Alliance, attempted to solve the authentication problem. The FIDO Alliance Board of Directors is an all-star lineup of global technology leaders, service providers, and solution vendors. The FIDO Alliance primarily focused on security keys and biometrics. The technology of the FIDO Alliance never captured the mindshare of the technology community and was rejected by most consumers. In a press release dated March 17, 2022, FIDO admitted failure, pretty much. Credentials are not recoverable in today's FIDO model. This presents issues for deploying FIDO at scale to consumers who are constantly moving between devices and updating to new ones. This admission of failure by one of the great technology alliances in the history of our planet is shocking and very much an uncovered story. For almost 10 years, the FIDO Alliance assured everyone they knew what they were doing, and now all of a sudden they say, oops, that's not working out, so we are now working on a new plan. Why should anyone trust them now? FIDO's new plan is passkeys. This technology might be even worse than before. It is essentially a hackerific version of Apple's iCloud keychain, where credentials are stored in the cloud. Their use of QR codes is not elegant. This video is from the FIDO website.
So the next day, I want to go to TriBank on my Windows laptop and sign in with Edge. Here, I'm going to click sign in with a passkey. I'm going to choose to use my phone. I'll pick up my phone, open the camera, and point it at the QR code of the laptop. Select use a passkey. Now I'm going to allow the laptop and the phone to securely communicate over Bluetooth, so the laptop and the phone know that they're near each other. At that point, I will simply select the passkey that I just created, touch my fingerprint on the sensor, and I should instantly be signed in on Edge on Windows.
There are even greater problems with the new and improved FIDO technology. This video is also from the FIDO website.
There's going to be a series of classes of relying party site that aren't going to be comfortable only accepting a passkey for authentication, because to be fair, the ability to access my Google account will allow me to recover all my Google ecosystem passkeys. And there will be industries where account sovereignty requirements are such that there needs to be a factor where that is owned by the relying party themselves.
What did this guy just say? What did he mean by account sovereignty requirements? He meant that there is no way in hell the major financial institutions or other corporations that value their customer data are going to turn authentication over to the FIDO Alliance. There is also another dark and sinister reason not to trust this new and improved authentication technology from the FIDO Alliance. By storing your credentials in the cloud, you are giving the FIDO Alliance access to your private keys and thus creating a backdoor into every system. This goes way beyond simply capturing usability data during the authentication process. This is deep access into your accounts and applications. From the FIDO technical white paper, just like password managers do with passwords, the underlying OS platform will sync the cryptographic keys that belong to a FIDO credential from device to device. Also from the FIDO technical white paper, this means that the security and availability of a user's synced credentials depends on the security of the underlying OS platforms, Google's, Apple's, and Microsoft's, etc., authentication mechanism for their online accounts, and on the security method for reinstating access when all old devices were lost. Any senior developer or application architect who reads about FIDO's new technical architecture will have an "oh my god" reaction. Think about it. If FIDO can transfer your private keys between systems for your benefit, they can also move your private keys to a new device which they or the NSA or some nefarious corporation or government controls. One of the fundamental concepts of cybersecurity is that private keys need to be kept private. This is CS 101. Creating an architecture that allows the transfer of private keys to systems the user does not directly control is a major security violation. This architecture opens a backdoor into every system. Think about it. The big worry has always been that the NSA or some other agency, like NIST, in the American security state, was engineering backdoors into cryptographic processes. There is no need to do that if they can control the process that controls the user's private keys. They can maintain the fiction of integrity, of course we are not engineering backdoors into cryptographic processes, while taking complete control of the process itself, managing the user's private keys. If true, it is a brilliant and devious sleight of hand. If big tech is already under contract with the American security state, we all have a lot to worry about. Once the agents of an authoritarian government can compromise someone's ethics in a small way, they continuously build to bigger and bigger ethical compromises. That is the foundation strategy of authoritarian control. There are authoritarians on both the political left and the political right. The ultimate goal of every authoritarian and the bureaucrats that serve them is to accumulate as much power as possible. This accumulation of power becomes an end in itself. That is why unchecked bureaucracies grow beyond control and become corrupt. Anything that serves the interests of the bureaucracy and their authoritarian masters can be justified. When powerful corporations ally themselves with authoritarians in government, and when their interests coincide, there is a perfect political storm of corruption. This is exactly the direction we are heading with the American security state and big tech. We are heading into a perfect political storm of corruption. This corruption can be both subtle and direct. The American security state is a sprawling bureaucracy comprising 1,271 government organizations and 1,931 private companies in 10,000 locations in the United States. One of the key agencies within the American security state is the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. This agency is responsible for strengthening cybersecurity and infrastructure protection across all levels of government. CISA is one of the key policy-making agencies for the entire federal government. The director of CISA is Jen Easterly. She was the featured keynote speaker at the FIDO Authenticate conference held October 17th to 19th, 2022 in Seattle. Given that control of authentication is in both the interests of the American security state and big tech, do you think CISA is considering any alternatives to FIDO? Do you think they realize how bad FIDO technology really is? Do they at least have an open mind?
I'd like to challenge my friends in the technology space to adopt a policy of radical transparency around MFA adoption. Now that could come in a few different forms. First, we'd like to see you all publish a breakdown of MFA adoption. What percentage of your customers have enrolled in MFA, and what percentage of MFA users have chosen SMS or an authenticator or a push notification or FIDO authentication? Go FIDO! 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 Second, we'd like to see you publish statistics around privileged users like sysadmins. Again, go FIDO.
Well, that presentation says a great deal. We literally have a senior official from the American security state doing a cheerleading routine for big tech. For technology reasons, for privacy reasons, for competitive reasons, for security reasons, and for political reasons. Just like FIDO's old technology, FIDO's new technology will never attain widespread adoption. FIDO will fail again. The major failure of the FIDO architecture is their device-centric approach to storing private keys. The user registers to a device, and then the private key is stored on that device and synced to the cloud. You could end up having multiple credentials on multiple systems and in the cloud. Usernames and passwords are not secure. Multi-factor authentication is deprecated. FIDO is a present and future failure. What else is there? A tech startup in Austin has the answer. WebAuthn Plus. Under WebAuthn+, a user's private key is stored securely on his or her smartphone in a credential management application and never leaves the device. The user experience for WebAuthn+ is friendly and elegant. A user goes to a web application sign-on page. When the user clicks the WebAuthn+ button, the browser communicates securely with the server over TLS and with the user's mobile device over a paired Web Bluetooth Low Energy BLE connection. The same values that are sent to the browser are sent to the user's smartphone over an encrypted Firebase channel with local confirmation to the browser over Web Bluetooth. The user verifies the authentication code and then touches Sign on his or her smartphone. The session UUID is signed by the user's private key, which resides securely on his or her smartphone, and that signed value is sent to the server. The sign-on web page automatically transforms. A verification code, generated in the user's smartphone and sent through an encrypted channel to the web server, is displayed on both the web page and the user's smartphone, EUB467. The simplicity of this authentication process is that the user goes to a web page, receives a notification on his or her smartphone, and simply touches the Sign On button. Here is how it all works. Let's see that again. The user goes to the Sign On web page and clicks the WebAuthn+ button. The Nexus Chromium browser securely pairs with the user's smartphone through Web Bluetooth. The domain name is confirmed from within the application context of the Nexus Chromium browser. The user touches the Sign On button on his or her phone. Cryptographic magic happens. The user is successfully signed on. Using Web Bluetooth to confirm the domain name solves one of the fundamental problems of secure web authentication. Ensure the user is on the right web page. That is www.chase.com, not www.chaze.com. This completely stops phishing scams and most of the advanced attacks against multi-factor authentication. In order to make this all work, we had to create our own version of the Chromium browser, Nexus Chromium. This prototype version of Chromium writes the domain name characteristic through Web Bluetooth from the browser application context, and not the JavaScript context, which can be easily hacked by anyone creating a fake web page. In order for the bad actors to compromise your authentication under WebAuthn+, they would need to install malware on your system or install a completely fake version of the Chromium browser on your system. In this case, for all authentication systems, it is game over. The bad actors have won, and you should probably replace your anti-malware program and/or your corporate IT staff. Under WebAuthn+, your authentication cannot be compromised by clicking on a phishing link and going to a fake web page, or by any of the other advanced attacks. WebAuthn+ cannot be compromised even if there is a complete breach of the server data, because the user's private key is stored securely on his or her mobile device and never leaves the mobile device. There is only one threat vector against WebAuthn+. If a bad actor looks over your shoulder, steals your password, then steals your smartphone, and defeats the fingerprint reader or other security before you can report your smartphone lost or stolen, then the bad actor can access your account. This is a completely open source project. Even our changes to the Chromium source code will be made available to all. A system is secure if the plans for the system are public and the bad actors can still not break in. Our license has not yet been finalized, but most likely these provisions will hold. We are in the process of creating an elegant credential restoration process. If your smartphone is lost or stolen, you will be able to easily restore your credentials. We expect that this service will be free. There is much more information available on our website and in our technical white paper. We implement session-specific pairing within the Nexus Chromium browser to make Web Bluetooth more secure and user-friendly. Complete technical details on how data is stored securely on a user's mobile device are provided. Complete step-by-step instructions are available for deploying this authentication system. Even the most junior developer should be able to accomplish the full setup. We present a vision for secure online voting. If you think you understand the concept of identity, read our technical white paper. Under WebAuthn+, the concept of identity is fundamentally changed. Who are you? You are the entity that has been issued a cryptographically secure digital credential that you control. Most of your digital credentials will be simple application identity credentials. Some of your digital credentials will be legal identity credentials, and in the future, these credentials will be based on digital DNA. With WebAuthn Plus, simple passwords like 123, ASD, or even PW become highly secure on a trusted system, that is, a home computer or an office workstation. Users really do not want to have to use their phone for every authentication to every application every time. The reason usernames and passwords have stuck around for so long is because consumers like their convenience. Under WebAuthn Plus, the same simple password can be used securely across multiple sites. Under WebAuthn Plus, users can reset their own password. There is no need to call the help desk. Our next video will present a technical deep dive into the architecture of simple secure passwords on trusted systems. These final statements are the most important of this video. In addition to secure authentication, our working prototype includes the capability to cryptographically sign a distributed ledger with one touch on a user's mobile device. This has nothing to do with the blockchain hype. This ability will enable us to create a change-the-world technology platform that will lead to the creation of the Internet of Value and the widespread implementation of practical artificial intelligence systems. Our technology platform will secure identity, enhance value transfer, and usher in the age of practical AI based on lots of structured decision-making data harvested for optimal decisions. The Internet of Value has the potential to ignite a worldwide renaissance by providing ubiquitous access to efficient financial systems and the ability to transact securely with anyone in the world. The future is bright.